Hey, welcome back to the weekly word time again. Thanks for joining us. Told you last week we were going to look at some Joe Pye, and we've got some shots on here, some real pretty ones. This is my personal patch right here in front of the house. I sit in the recliner and watch it grow all year long, really. Starts in the springtime, just starting coming out of the ground, and I didn't plant it. It just came up there and started mowing around it years ago. So this is my Joe Pye patch right by the driveway. And in the springtime, it comes up and grows about a foot a week. And I just kind of measured as it goes up and it gets higher than the fence post. And I don't know, what is it now? 8-9 feet high, I guess. Hasn't gotten any real pretty color yet. This is still white. Here in a couple weeks, it'll get those real deep pink too. And usually gets covered up with those yellow tiger swallowtail butterflies. But I literally do enjoy it year round, because just as soon as it gets warm enough to come out of the ground, I enjoy looking at it as I walk by it and watch it come up. But then when the frost comes, it will die, and it turns into these dried, stiff stalks. And many years ago, I read in a history book, I think it may have been James Mooney, the ethnicist who stayed with the Cherokee, said that was the traditional Cherokee fire starter. So I thought, that's pretty interesting. I bet that is good fire starter. So I started harvesting it in the wintertime. After it would die, I'd break it up into pieces. And well, I brought a clump right here. These aren't really good and dry yet. This is one that blew down a couple weeks ago in a storm, but it's dried enough already that I could break it up. I've got a whole woodshed full of it back there from last year, because it's like every time I start a fire in the wood heater, I'll use one of them. I don't start that many, you know, the fire lasts 3 or 4 weeks till it gets hot and let it go out again in the wintertime. But this works just great. I throw some paper down and I take one of the snapped up Joe Pyes, put it on top of the paper, and then I put my kindling in the bigger wood, and I start my fires with the traditional Cherokee fire starter. Try it sometime. If you're out and going to make a campfire or something, find a dried Joe Pye stalk, and it really does help get the fire going. Spiritually, what is it that lights your fire, so to speak? For me personally, it's whenever I open my Bible up. When I open my Bible and I start reading the Word there, it just kind of sets me on fire. And I hope you're that way too. If you're not, then maybe your wood's wet. And if your wood's wet, then talk to the Lord about that, and I guarantee you He'll change that, and you'll get excited about reading the Word of God. Spend some time in it this week, and we'll see you next week. And we're going to make a little trip over to Bledsoe County next week. We'll see you on the Weekly Word. Bye-bye.